RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
If you're in the mood for some sprucing up, you're in luck. From big to small or farm to front yard, your Illinois Farm Bureau member discount from John Deere is ready and waiting to help. It's easy to think green when it's the Rewards Loyalty Program with savings on equipment, special parts, and home and workshop products. Whether your tasks involve mowing, planting, or cleaning, you'll be set for whatever your work requires. All you need to do is sign up, have your membership number handy, and go to johndeere.com/Farm Bureau.
You're listening to RFD Town and Country Partners, connecting you with the food you eat, the Illinois farmers who grow it, and the food-related events, destinations, and lifestyles that make our state great.
Welcome to RFD Town and Country Partners on a Monday. I'm DeLoss Yankee. Pleased to have in. It seems like it's more than monthly visit, but we have each month we have Joe Berman come in, manager of financial planning support at Country Financial. Joe, how are you?
I'm well, DeLoss. How are you this afternoon?
Doing all right. I feel like we talked about this last time was May. We were talking about 529 of planning for college. Yep. You have some more information about what people do and how they plan for college.
I do. You know, the recent college admission scandal really sent a shockwave through the industry there as far as sharing how much parents were willing to go to those extreme lengths to get their kids into the right school or the right program. And so we have some recent survey data from Country Financial shows that most Americans, while not breaking any laws, are willing to go to a lot of lengths to get their kids into the right college. So what we saw was that over half of Americans, so 56%, would voluntarily go into debt to pay for their children's college education.
Wow.
And with that average parent taking on over $30,000 in college debt on behalf of their kids.
Part of the thing about college is just the assumption, kind of like the assumption of I'll always have a car payment. Mm-hmm. And if you go in thinking, well, I'll just go into debt, then that's pretty much what you're going to do.
Yeah, and we were seeing, too, that they were not, if you just look at the difficult problem that you have out there with college costs. So over the last decade, those college costs have been in excess of inflation by over 3%. So if inflation's running at 3%, that means those college costs are going up 6% a year or more. Here in state, here in Illinois, if you look, the average tuition's around $14,000-15,000. You tack on room and board, pizza, books, backpack, an apartment and stuff, you're easily topping $30,000 a year. And again, as a parent, we all hope for 4 years only, no major of the month clubs or, the 6-year plan.
Right. 4 years if you're going to get an undergrad.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And that can be, there's plenty that go 4.5.
Yeah.
Some majors it can be hard to get more. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when it comes to saving, we're talking last month about 529 plans. So that time when the kids head off to kindergarten is really the start of that. So we see about a third of parents have started saving by the time their child reaches age 5, another third later on, and about another third aren't able to save anything for college. And that just really starts limiting the choices and opportunities there.
So now it's interesting. So the notion of voluntarily going into debt, does that necessarily mean student loans using the federal program, or what choices are there at that point?
So one of the things we also saw, we asked those that were paying for college or had gone through college, hey, how did you finance the gap here? So we saw over 60% of students worked while they were in college, whether that's an internship or at Jimmy John's. Another 27% went to a community college first and then transferred, so that keeps those costs a little bit lower. Almost half applied for scholarships. A similar, about 42% applied for financial aid. and that left us with about 39% were taking out student loans, either the kids or mom and dad.
Wow. Or both. Maybe.
Exactly. In many cases, both. And that's how you get those numbers really high, really fast. Along with the college scandal, there was a lot of talk about those prep programs that parents were maybe helping their kids through junior high and high school to get ready for college. So we saw that about 60% of those whose kids attended college had done some extracurricular activities, of whether that's taken an ACT, SAT prep class, maybe a private sports program, taken music, language, art lessons, or hiring a tutor. And again, those put extra crimps on those years heading into college before the big bills even really hit.
Right. Yeah. How much, if I hire a tutor, how much does that cut off the back end, as opposed to just adding more on the front end to hurt saving on the back end?
Yeah,
you know?
and the finances that was triggering up front, almost a third cut back on family vacations. Another quarter drew down savings to pay for some of those programs. 1 in 5 took out a loan for those programs, so they're taking out loans before junior gets to college. Or about 1 in 7 picked up a part-time job to help pay for those extracurricular activities there.
Is there anything in there about just deciding which kid they love more? And
you got to love them all equally here.
Because
it's fair. It's always fair. It's always got to be fair.
We're talking about these numbers.
Not equal, but fair.
Right. You went through this. You know, you can certainly speak with experience, because many times this happens more than once. You know, this happens simultaneously. You know, kids a couple of years apart, and you may be doing this twice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, double your pleasure, double your fun here.
Yeah. So that triggers a lot of that college debt. So we're seeing today those students that are walking across the stage here just last month, in addition to getting the diploma, walked out with about, on average, means some more, some less, $37,000 in student loan debt. The number on a national level, this gets mind-boggling. $1.3 trillion of student loan debt. Now, to put that in perspective, that is more than all the credit card debt and auto loan debt combined here in the U.S.
Wow, more than auto debt, too. Combined.
So you add up credit cards and auto debt combined there.
37,000. I mean, 37,000. And this isn't like a car. I'm always amazed. You go to auto shows and you see these cars that are worth more than my house, and people say, "Oh yeah, we'll work out a 7-year plan." 37,000 on average. Are we paying that off in 12 or 10?
10. Now, one of the things we saw was that a lot of the students were feeling they might not be able to pay that off. So parents, over half, thinking they were going to have that paid off in around 5 years or so. But the students, over a third, felt that it was going to be 10 years or more.
So then at that point, 37,000 is what, 50? 55?
Oh, easily. And again, remember, that's the average.
Right.
So there's some significantly more than that. And again, are you getting the right kind of job on the back end to help you finance the lifestyle and depending on where you're living and to pay and to cover those debts?
Yeah. Now, if you could speak from this as being part of your wheelhouse, then, if you don't want to go into 6.9% debt to do this sort of thing, thinking about this from the parent side, and it all depends on what you have for a home, or it could be for the farm for that matter. You know, interest loans, you know, if we refinance a few things, surely that's coming in less than, I assume the number is still 6.9% that we're talking about from a federal standpoint.
On a student loan rate, yeah, that's about the average there, a little bit higher on a plus loan that parents are taking out. So again, still relatively attractive. I mean, you go back in the early 80s, and that's, you know, a third of what interest rates were at that point. But certainly where interest rates are at today, and just recently in the last few weeks, those interest rates have continued to peg down. So if you haven't taken a look at refinancing some of that debt, some of those 15-year rates are getting very attractive. If you still got a home loan, that might be able to free up some cash down the road, even to redirect that mortgage payment that you were making. If you got the house paid off by the time college starts, you have some other options. You can, in essence, keep making those mortgage payments, but now for Johnny or Janie.
But yeah, it it doesn't accelerate as much if you can get in there at 3.9 versus 6.9.
Exactly. But probably one of the big important things there is, by the time the kids are hitting late junior high, or certainly by a freshman in high school, to sit down and have that talk with them. Sit down and really let's lay out, here's what the costs are going to be, here's what we've taken on as responsibility, here's what it's actually going to cost, and then kind of start getting creative. Yeah. You want to attend school close to home, you want to commute, you want to do a community college.
The out-of-state private school sounds a little bit different.
And take advantage of those CLEP classes, accelerated programs that get you some college credit in high school even.
So I have a guy like me with my home insurance and my auto insurance through Country Financial, but it may not dawn on me that there is someone within the organization, within the company, who can help me with something like that. I mean, I may just talk to my local agent on a semi-regular basis. I don't think about financial planning questions with him or her necessarily, but it's there.
You can certainly reach out to your local Country Financial representative. They have access to our services. You can find more at countryfinancial.com in the news section. We had some extra pieces that went out there this month along those survey results, some written by myself and other staff members. And you can follow us on Twitter at Hello Country.
37,000. I mean, I paid for lunch last week. I don't know if I can do much more to chop into that sort of thing, but that is an eye-opener. And it's also an eye-opener for people who want to go back and get another degree, MBA or master's or anything like that, continuing education.
And to take a look at those online classes and really shop the rates there very carefully.
Wow. Well, good advice. Good to know that sort of thing going in, Joe. Thank you very much.
Chat.
Joe Berman at Country Financial on RFD, Town & Country Partners.
Are you preparing for planting season? We don't mean to be a pest, but here's a few things you need to know before you grow. The Illinois Department of Agriculture now requires special local needs labels, including new restrictions for the use of herbicide dicamba on top of soybeans in Illinois for the 2019 growing season. Did you know these additional restrictions go beyond federally approved labels? Remember, the label is the law. To find out more about these Illinois-specific labels, visit ilfb.org/label-aware.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Dina Stroish connects rural routes for you. From the Farm Bill to crop insurance to GMO labeling, her expertise is apparent in the stories she reports. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I get to meet interesting people and share their stories, and I get paid to do it. I cover ag policy and really enjoy keeping the farming community updated on these important issues.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Partners Radio. Illinois has a thriving wine industry with a number of wineries around the state. The Grafton Winery in Grafton, Illinois, owner Mike Nignovich says that they didn't start in Grafton, but always wanted to end up there.
We started a small one in Edwardsville, and with our eye on Grafton, because we'd always been there, we were able to find a spot for a new building, so we went in there, and then that was 2008, and in 2015 we did the vineyards.
What do you see as your biggest seller for the wine for your Grafton Winery?
Definitely the fruit wine. Apple, strawberry, and blackberry we have year-round. Apple and blackberry run neck and neck, strawberry a little bit behind it. Then we also do a seasonal. We do 5 seasonals, actually, and the seasonals usually keep up with it, but by far our fruit wines are biggest seller.
What are your seasonal wines?
Well, like in the spring, we have a double berry, we call it blueberry, blackberry. Summertime is peach. Fall, we do a raspberry. And just before Thanksgiving, we bring out a cranberry and then also a cranberry apple that we call Holiday Crapple. Never intended for it to go in the store with a name like that, but now it's the biggest seller in the stores.
Anything else you'd like to add about people that might not know anything about your winery?
Well, there's 2 locations, the one in downtown Grafton. It seats about 400 to 500 people. Full kitchen down there. It's a great view of the river, a lot of things going on. Then we have the Vineyards location about 4 miles away. It's more of a traditional winery setting. We've got a caterer's kitchen here, but people are allowed to bring in food. More weddings than that up here. Just a little bit different atmosphere up here. But either one, great place to visit, and Grafton always has something going on.
Now, you did mention that your downtown facility, do you have a beer brewery as well?
Yes, we do. We make beer at our downtown facility. We don't wholesale that, but we've got it available on draft or by growler.
So for Illinois, for the vineyards, what kind of wines do typically Illinois vineyards have and you guys have here in Grafton?
For our vineyards that we actually grow, we only have whites. We produce 2 different white wines, Vignola and Vidal. A lot of the wineries in Illinois have got, which we also have, full line of reds, and they're not grown in our vineyards. Those are juices we bring in. But a lot of the other wineries in Illinois will grow reds as well. A lot of people are bringing in outside grapes as well as the industry demands it.
The Grafton Winery is open daily Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 to 9 p.m., and Sunday, noon to 7 p.m. For RFD Town and Country Partners Radio, I'm Christina Wilkinson.
RFD Radio Network's Rita Frazier connects rural routes for you. Rita delivers passion and reliable information to listeners on the RFD Radio Network. Her radio career spans close to 3 decades. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I grew up on a small farm. My job today allows me to connect with people from all walks of life and experience opportunity every day. I get to talk about what I love, farming.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Attention, Illinois farmers. You won't want to miss this field day at SIU Carbondale University Farms. It's your chance to hear from industry experts about ongoing research and how it will benefit your farm. Join us on June 26th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with free lunch included. This is a joint effort of the SIU College of Agricultural Sciences, Illinois Nutrient Research and Education Council, and Illinois Farm Bureau. You must pre-register at IllinoisNREC.org and click on upcoming events.
Welcome back to Town and Country Partners Radio. I'm Christina Wilkinson. I'm sure most of you remember hosting a tea party for your favorite dolls or teddy bears when you were growing up. I do have a great tea set that I received from a great aunt that I love to use to host tea parties with. Today, I do still enjoy a good cup of tea, and I found that going to tea can be a wonderful event. My friends and I have visited a variety of tea rooms across the state, and it really is a lovely experience just to sit down to tea. Her Majesty's Tea Room in Dunlap is also a great place for tea. Owner Jacqueline Gillum-Fairchild says that tea time should not be rushed.
Tea is a wonderful time to sit down with a friend and just take your time. We serve a high tea, a formal high tea, and that does not mean a time of day. That means the meal, and that includes savories, sweets, and a scone with cream and jam.
And you guys have a really unique setup. I mean, you feel like you are experiencing something for royalty because of all the fanciness that you have. But do you think that you have to be fancy to enjoy tea?
No. Tea is a wonderful... Once when Jerry and I were in England, we stopped at a basket company that makes those round trugs, those garden trugs, and the guys all had on shorts, no shirts, and they looked like football players. And we said, could we take pictures of the guys making the trugs? And the foreman said to us, yes, but you cannot disturb their tea time when the bell goes off. And the bell went off, and they opened their lunch boxes, and these huge football players all had bone china cups and saucers, cucumber sandwiches, and little cakes.
So is that something like that? It's like their snack time, as opposed like we would have like maybe just a snack. They call it tea.
They call it tea time. Yes, like a cream tea is a smaller tea. But a high tea like you had today, that's the full meal. And all of our chinas from the UK and all of our silverware is from Portobello Road, so we like it to be special.
Do you go on buying trips then? I know in the past that you've gone on buying trips to England and you come back and everything's very authentic.
Everything is very authentic. We have a dozen UK brokers, and they come to me every day and email and my catalogs, and I talk to them on the phone all the time. So many of our items and our food comes from the UK, and we bake all of our own pastries and make all of our own things. But we can accommodate a gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, diabetic, or any special needs you have.
Do you see a certain age group coming in to enjoy tea?
No, all women love tea, and we get a lot of couples who come for their anniversary or they're on a date, and that's kind of cute.
What do you see, like, when, I know you're an author, and you've written articles about etiquette for tea. Can you just give us some fine tips on etiquette?
Well, I guess if I were to sum it up really quickly, I would say sit down carefully, quietly, enjoy yourself, look as nice as you can, use your napkin, use your fork, and just take your time. Taking your time is the most important thing. So many of us rush all the time, and you don't want to rush through tea.
And also, I think something that, should go without saying, keep your phone put away.
Well, we like people to take pictures in the tea room in the store, but when you're with somebody, that's special time with them. You want that time with them, so you should just put your phone away on your own.
Can you comment on the varieties of tea that you have? Because it's not just like, a limited tea bag. There's so many different choices of tea. Can you comment on that, please?
Sure. Our favorite's Yorkshire Gold. It's a strong black tea. It's the tea the Queen drinks, and she can drink anything she wants. It never gets bitter. It comes in every size, including decaf and loose. We like to start you with a fruity tea, something like the blackberry raspberry, which is sweet, and it's a beautiful magenta color. We're into these chocolate teas now. We have chocolate strawberry, red velvet, chocolate coconut, and they are sweet. They're considered dessert teas, and we love them. They are so good. Sometimes if you're hungry in the afternoon and, maybe you're cutting back a little bit, have a dessert tea, and it just takes the edge off everything.
Do you see a difference between the bag tea and the loose tea?
Yes, with loose tea, people are never sure what the quantity is they're putting in, so they never seem to get a consistent cup of tea. With the bags, especially now that the filters are so perfect, you get a perfect cup of tea every time.
What is the amount that you should put in if you're using the loose tea?
A teaspoon and a half.
And do you measure that with the actual teaspoon and a half, or is it eyeball it?
See, people kind of eyeball it, and their tea is never consistent.
And is there a certain amount of time that you should steep the tea?
Yes. You should bring your water to a rolling boil, even if it's whatever kind of tea it is, and steep it 2 to 3 minutes. It could be a little bit longer. But if it gets to be 10 minutes, it's going to start getting to be too strong.
Anything else you'd like to add about people going to tea or enjoying tea?
We'd love you to come join us here at the tea room. We only have one seating by reservation, so we bake the night before all your pastries. We never rush you, and we want you just to come and escape for a little bit.
And I have to say that the experience of tea can be fun for both the young and the old. My 15-year-old daughter and her friends did enjoy getting all fancied up to go to tea. They talked about it for weeks ahead of time. However, Fairchild does add that tea can be a casual time and that you do not need to put your pinky finger up while drinking tea. Just hold the cup delicately and enjoy. For Town and Country Partners Radio, I'm Christina Wilkinson.
Always good stuff. Thanks, Christina. There's not much about being delicately, but also very good information. Tomorrow, we will be broadcasting live from the 101st Martinsville Ag Fair. So between Marshall and KZ, just off of US 40, just south of 70. It has a history that goes back into the 19th century. It had a couple of hiccups in the early going, but last year they celebrated 100 years of fairs, and they say every night is family night. Gets underway today and continues through the 15th. Online, MartinsvilleAgFair.com. We'll be down there broadcasting live, so looking forward to that. Should be a pretty good day to be out there as well. The organizers, though, quite a deal, just getting done planting corn even yesterday. I'm DeLoss Yankee, RFD, Town and Country Partners.